Today we're going to try something different. Savory zucchini bread. Now a lot of times people make zucchini bread that's sweet and delicious and full of cinnamon and nuts and all that good stuff, but also sugar and oil. So we're going to try a different version today and make it more savory and see if we can get some other flavors in there and less sugar and less oil. Okay, I'm going to start by taking dry ingredients, and I'm going to use 1.5 cups of flour. I'm going to use a tablespoon of sugar, much less than you would in the sweet stuff. I'm going to use 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And a little bit of paprika. Open this up. I'm going to use a teaspoon of paprika. You could use smoky or regular, spicy or not, it's okay. Alright, this is our dry mixture. And I'm just going to whisk it around a little bit so everything's spread out. At this point, those of you who like to add salt, feel free to add salt. Alright, let's set that aside. And let me show you the other ingredients here. We're going to use 2 medium zucchinis. I'm going to use half a package of diced prosciutto. And this is a cured ham. I'm going to use about 3/4 cup of Asiago cheese, and I'm going to cube it up. Now this is Belgioso, it's one of my favorite brands, so we'll cut that up into cubes, and I'm going to use some thyme. And this is very fragrant and tastes very good. This is going to make the bread really stand out. Okay, let me start by taking the zucchini and shredding it up. I'm just going to use a grater for this. Just a simple old grandma's grater. Or if you want to use a fancy chopper or something, you can do that too. But this is quick. Just going to use the grating part and shred it up like grating cheese. Now, as you get it grated, it's nice and moist, and we're just going to start adding the wet ingredients into the flour. Okay, now I have the rest of the zucchini shredded up here. And you can see, look in the bowl and see how much I have. It's not a measured amount, it's 2 medium zucchinis. And that's why our cooking time sometimes takes a little bit longer or shorter than another batch you might make, because you just have to wait till all the moisture is out of the cake. Alright, I'm going to take... Next I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of water and add them to this mixture. 1, 2. And then I'm going to take 1/3 cup of olive oil. Now many of the zucchini breads that are the sweet type, they take up to 1 cup of oil. Not so good. So I'm happy for this recipe that's only 1/3 cup. Another way to reduce the amount of oil is to use applesauce, but since this is savory, I thought I wouldn't do that. Alright, next I'm going to take 3 eggs. And crack them up and beat them a little bit. In the meantime, I'm preheating the oven to 350 degrees. Let's just beat them up a little bit. Okay, now the savory part. I'm going to take the this herbs here, and I'm just going to fold it in half and start chopping in there a little bit. And they have a pretty tough stem, so we want to make sure they're chopped up pretty tiny pieces. You want to end up with about a tablespoon of fresh herbs. Boy, they smell so good. Let's just put a little more of the surface area out there, get more flavor. Okay, get the rest of this in the cutting board into the bowl. Some Asiago cheese. Now the cheese, we're going to cube it up and then we're going to assemble it into the pan. So we want to make little chunks, not too big. This is a wonderful cheese for breads. A lot of times people use these in baking because it doesn't melt away into nothing. It stays into little pockets. Alright, now the prosciutto, it's also the type of thing you don't need to add, but we're doing it for a little extra flavor here. So we'll just tack it there. Okay, now take a close look at this. It's a little bit of a fatty meat. It's cured ham. It's called dry cured ham. And we're going to spread that around. And I'm going to use about half of the container. A little goes a long way on that one. Alright, let's mix this up pretty good. You can see there's a lot of moisture in this, so it takes a long time to bake. It takes about 45 minutes for one loaf. I think that's well worth the time, though. It's nice to get most of the moisture from the zucchini instead of added oils and things like that. Alright. Now, I'm using the Prochutto loaf pan because I like it because it's flexible and it's easy to get the bread out of there. But I'm still going to give it a little spray of olive oil cooking spray just to make everything really easy. And we're going to take half the batter here. All right. And after spreading it out, we're going to add half the cheese. And just add chunks all around each side and down the middle. Wherever you lay the chunk, it's going to be there when it's done baking. So you want to make sure every slice you bring out has a nice amount of Asiago cheese in it. Then we'll take the rest of the batter. You can see all the nice pieces of the ham in there. It's pretty cool when something smells so good before you even baked it. Oh my gosh. All the herbs are really nice here. Okay, now what we're going to do is add the rest of the cheese. I'm going to just press it into the top. We're not going to bury it, but we want to make sure it covers. And that'll get a nice golden brown on top as we finish baking it. That's the other reason we use this kind of cheese. It doesn't melt like all over the top of it. It'll stay in the pocket. All right, just press them down a little bit, and we're ready to put it in the toaster oven. Ooh, here it comes. Look at that. Take a close-up of that. The cheese and the meat are bubbling in there. All right, I'm going to shake it loose here a little bit and flip it out. Oh, perfect. Look at that. These tzatziki pans are great for that. I'd like to turn it back over, but I'm going to let it sit here and cool. Okay, I think it's cool enough to cut into it now. It's still a little warm, but let's take a look inside. It feels very moist. Look at those cheese chunks in there. Okay, it's still pretty hot. Let's take a piece over here. I'm going to put a little bit of butter on this. Doesn't that look delicious? Let me show you what the top side looks like. Look at all those chunks of cheese melted in there. Okay, try this recipe for savory zucchini bread. It's really different than what you're probably used to. And the spices are so fragrant. It looks like that is really good. Okay, try the recipe if you get a chance. It's different, and I think you'll like it.